Today I'm going to be putting Connor McDavid back in the 90s. That's right, McDavid will play against Gretzky, Lemieux, Jagr, all of those great legends. Some people say McDavid would score 100 goals in Gretzky's era. It is time to find out. Connor McDavid in the 90s, let's go. Shout out to Kiss75, what a name, for making this roster. I pretty much took current Connor McDavid and just slapped him on the Edmonton Oilers in 1993. So yeah, this team is not very good. We do have Doug White at an 88 overall on our second line though. But no Leon Draisaitl, no Zach Hyman, no Evander Kane. We have Connor McDavid in the 90s. Let's see how he's going to do. He's 25 years old and a 98 overall. If you enjoy videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn notifications on so you don't miss a single upload. McDavid would have a decent first year in the 90s, 55 goals, 55 assists for 110 points, which would not be good enough for Wayne Gretzky's 68 goals and 133 points. That was not good enough for Gretzky's 68 goals and 133 points. McDavid would come in third place in the overall scoring. The Oilers would start out 2-11, but somehow still make the playoffs. They would finish third in the Pacific. Unfortunately, we would lose to Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings in the first round, and they would go on to win the Stanley Cup. McDavid would have 15 points in 7 games in the first round. Absolute dog. Wayne Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky. Selke, Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. He would also take home the Conn Smythe. Connor has jumped up to a 99 overall, and Doug White is a 91 now, so our roster is starting to shape up here. Connor would absolutely explode this season, 73 goals and 151 points. He would also have the most goals and points in the entire league, followed by Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. Connor McDavid, the new greatest player of all time. Edmonton would yet again finish third in the Pacific, 40 wins, 37 losses, which means another matchup with the LA Kings and Wayne Gretzky. We just cannot catch a break. The LA Kings would beat us yet again, but this time in 6 games. Gretzky absolutely owns Edmonton right now. Mario Lemieux and the Pittsburgh Penguins would take home the Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid is the new greatest player of all time. Mario Lemieux would take home the Conn Smythe. Paul Coffey with the Norris. Connor McDavid is a 99 overall, and Doug White is a 93 overall. Connor McDavid would yet again bust his load all over the NHL. He would have 75 goals and 156 points. It is a 3-man debate to see who is the best player in the world right now. Gretzky, Lemieux, or McDavid. Death, taxes, and the Oilers would yet again finish third in the Pacific. We would end up losing this time in the second round to the LA Kings again. And the Pittsburgh Penguins have gone back to back just like they did in real life. Jagr and Lemieux get it done yet again. Connor would have a great playoff run, 12 goals, 17 points in 9 games. McDavid would take home the Selke, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Lemieux would actually take home the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, and Trottier would take home the Conn Smythe. Connor McDavid still is a 99 overall. Doug White is a 94 overall, so let's start getting some playoff success here. McDavid would yet again put up 150 points, but this time 80 goals. He scored 80 goals? I mean, I guess playing against garbage men and plumbers will do that. No surprise here as he leads the entire NHL in goals and points. Edmonton would have their best season yet with 48 wins. We would finally be able to say we beat Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings, but we would get swept by the Red Wings in round number 3, and they would go on to win the Stanley Cup. McDavid would have an amazing playoff run, 15 goals, 33 points in 16 games. Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid. The Conn Smythe would go to Paul Coffey. Connor McDavid obviously is still a 99 overall. Doug White is all the way up to a 96, so we have our Leon Draisaitl of the 90s. Let's see if we can now win a Stanley Cup. Another great season for McDavid as he puts up 70 goals and 160 points. He obviously would have the most goals and points in the entire NHL. Next would be Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. McDavid over the last 5 years has produced more than both of those players, but he has not won yet. And Edmonton would have their best record yet, going 52, 28, and 2, but it was only good enough for second place behind the LA Kings in the Pacific. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers are currently in the Stanley Cup final against the Montreal Canadiens. Will Connor take home his first Stanley Cup? Sadly, McDavid and the Oilers will not win the Stanley Cup this year. Montreal would beat us in 5 games. It was not even close. Connor McDavid takes home pretty much all the trophies known to man. Patrick Roy would take home the Vezina. Paul Coffey with another Norris. McDavid is still a 99 overall. We are heading into year number 6 and we have not won a single thing. Connor, it is time to take over and lead the Edmonton Oilers to the Stanley Cup. McDavid would take a tiny step back. He would have 57 goals and 135 points. Still a great year overall. He would lead the entire NHL in points, followed by Mario Lemieux and Marcus Naslund. Also shout out Jagr. Mario would have the most goals in the entire NHL with 69, followed by Brett Hall and Connor McDavid. And the Oilers would just barely make the playoffs, finishing 500, 37, 37, and 8. Yet again, we would lose to LA in the very first round, and the Penguins would take home another Stanley Cup, third of the simulation as they beat Toronto in 5 games. Connor McDavid would take home the Art Ross Trophy, but Mario Lemieux would have a year for the ages, and he would take home the Conn Smythe. McDavid is still a 99 overall, and we finally got some talent surrounded around him. I don't know where that Doug Wright guy went, but we have good players around McDavid. It is time to win, buddy. McDavid would have 55 goals and 129 points. Wayne Gretzky would lead the entire NHL in goals and points with 137, followed by Connor McDavid and Mario Lemieux. Shout out Jaromir Jagr again. The Oilers yet again would barely make the playoffs. They would finish 40, 33, and 9. We would lose in the very first round yet again, this time to the Red Wings. And the Pittsburgh Penguins would go on to win another Stanley Cup. 4 Stanley Cups for Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. 2 back-to-back title runs. And Wayne Gretzky takes home all the awards. Besides the Conn Smythe, that would go to Ron Francis. Connor McDavid is still a 99 overall. And the Oilers have surrounded him with pretty good talent. The first line is absolutely stacked. I have no idea how we have not won a Stanley Cup yet. McDavid would put up 65 goals and 137 points. He would have the most goals and points in the entire NHL, followed by Wayne Gretzky and Thomas Sandstrom. Somehow the Oilers would not even make the playoffs. They would finish 27, 47, and 8. That is a terrible record. And the Pittsburgh Penguins will win their 3rd straight Stanley Cup as they beat Gretzky and the LA Kings in the Stanley Cup final in Game 7. McDavid would take home the Maurice Richard and the Art Ross Trophy. He would also take home the Lady Byng. Lemieux would take home the Conn Smythe. Connor McDavid is still a 99 overall. We are heading into year 9 and we have not won jack shit. Made the Stanley Cup final once, but we're usually bounced in round number 1, or we didn't even make the playoffs last year. And why the hell is Logan Stankoven on the Edmonton Oilers? I don't even know if he was born yet. McDavid would have a comeback season, scoring 72 goals and 150 points, which was the most goals and points in the entire NHL, followed by Sergei Fedorov and Desjardins, the defenseman, coming in 3rd in the entire scoring race. The Oilers would end up finishing 3rd in the Pacific. Great, now we have to play the LA Kings yet again. Yet again, we would lose in the first round to the LA Kings, and oh my god, the Penguins won 4 in a row, and the Penguins have won 4 straight Stanley Cups. Absolute dominance. Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid, winning all the awards but cannot win a Stanley Cup. Ron Francis would take home the Conn Smythe. McDavid has dropped down to a 96 overall. Connor McDavid would have 50 goals and 116 points. He would have the most points in the entire NHL, followed by Mario Lemieux and Paul DiPietro. Mario Lemieux would lead the entire NHL in goals with 67. The Oilers would yet again miss the playoffs. The Red Wings would end up winning the Stanley Cup, beating Montreal in 7 games. McDavid would take home the Art Ross. Gretzky on the Red Wings would take home the Conn Smythe. Yes, you're seeing that correctly. It's just unfair, man. McDavid still is a 96 overall, and we probably only have a couple years left, to be honest. He's 35 years old. He's probably retiring soon. Lemieux and Gretzky just have not let McDavid win anything. It's honestly sad, but let's hope McDavid can win at least 1 Stanley Cup before his career ends. McDavid would put up 45 goals and 110 points. He was also a minus 30. That is how bad the Edmonton Oilers are. Paul DiPietro would lead the entire NHL in goals and points with 68 goals and 129 points. Connor would come in 4th place, and the Oilers yet again missed the playoffs as they finished dead last in their division. That's just sad. The LA Kings will win another Stanley Cup as they beat Hartford in 4 games, which is actually Carolina for anyone who doesn't know. They would actually sweep them in the Stanley Cup final. Paul DiPietro would go off this year, taking home all the awards. The Conn Smythe would go to Lang. Don't ask me who that is. And just like that, Connor McDavid has decided to retire. Now, he's going to carry over his stats from real life for his first 7 seasons. He would put up 936 goals, 1,266 assists for 2,202 points. His playoff stats were not bad. He had 212 points and 82 goals, but I mean, no Stanley Cups. That's gotta be disappointing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and make sure you turn notifications on so you don't miss a single upload. And remember, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.